Thank you, Dr. Devkishore Gupta, for nice deliberation. As the session is on clinical safety, and as you know that we, as per ISCO standard, we always look forward to the raising of the bar in clinical safety. So, as the first presentation was by Dr. Jacob Varghese, was basically targeted to AAC 5E, that is in the 5th edition standard of NABH, and that was early warning sign where new score and all these scores has come. And second lecture or presentation by Dr. Dev Kishore Gupta is actually targeted to the HIC chapter 1, AAC 1D, where 1E, where first time in the 5th edition, antimicrobial stewardship has been added. So you have to understand, as an implementer of quality management system in your hospital, and for the NABH accreditation purpose, you have to have knowledge as well as implementation of both EWS, that is early warning sign, as well as the antimicrobial stewardship, particularly the hospitals who will be going for the reaccreditation by the new standard. So remember that if you do not practice the antimicrobial stewardship in your hospital, then you will be actually not complying with the recommendation of the ISCO standard, which has come as a NABH 5th edition standard. So if there is no question, I think I will allow one question, not more than that, because of the time constraint and all. So anybody can ask any question. So if there is no question, I would just request, that for the introduction of the last speaker.
I think we should go ahead quickly with third speaker because time constraint is there. Our third distinguished speaker is Mr. Arul Prakash. He leads the Central Biomedical Engineering Department of CMC Vellore, and he is involved in biomedical equipment management. Recently, he has set up an in-house calibration lab with necessary analyzer and tools. So, most welcome, Mr. Arul Prakash.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great honor to be with you all at this great event. I thank the organizers of Caho for giving me this opportunity to share our experience in getting NABL. I am coming from CMC Vellore. I am leading the Biomedical Engineering Department of CMC Vellore, and last year we were accredited by NABL in the field of medical device calibration and testing. This session is basically to encourage the hospitals and the biomedical departments to think of going for accreditation and do your own calibration. I'll begin with the background about our institution. CMC Vellore was started as a one-bedded clinic in 1900 by Dr. Ida Sophia Scudder. Today, we have multiple campuses in and around Vellore and one campus in Chittoor, Andhra Pradesh, with a total count of more than 3,300 beds. CMC is committed to serve the marginalized with best care at affordable cost without compromising in technology or state-of-art medical equipment. And we are the pioneer in many areas of healthcare, including education, research, surgeries, technology and equipment, and now in getting NABL also. The in-house biomedical engineering was started in 1971 as a small section. Then in 1982, we became an independent department. Now BME is a central department with 7 sections and managing all the 4 campuses. And we have around 15,000 medical equipment in inventory. And we are calibrating more than 3,000 equipments in-house every year. So you know why calibration is done. It's for the equipment safety, for ensuring accuracy, reliability, then safety, extension of life, etc. But now it is mandatory for accreditations, studies, research and projects. Now all the funding agencies and the donors, they also ask for calibration and preventive maintenance certificates for the equipments that they sponsored. And for the research projects, they also asked for the calibration certificates. So how our journey started? It all started with the NABH. In 2009, we were called to be a part of NABH, and Dr. Lallu Joseph invited us to be the part of NABH for inventory and calibration of biomedical equipment. So before NABH, that is before 2009, there was no proper inventory. We do not know how many equipments were there, because ours is a very huge campus and nobody knows how many equipments were there. And we were thinking that what we were doing is right. And all our analyzers and testers were underutilized. That means we were using it only for testing new equipments, and whenever there is a complaint, we used to use the analyzers. So when this NABS started, according to the FMS class, all the equipment should be inventoried and calibrated. So we started this as a project with quality management cell, and first thing we did was to start the inventory. We designed a logic for inventory, and we did it as a project, and almost 5,000 equipments were there at that time. And with this huge number, we thought we are not ready for any calibration and we will outsource the calibration. So we outsourced the calibration, but after that, we were not satisfied with the quality of the work done by the vendor, because there were a lot of errors, lot of corrections, and we have to redo the calibration. So our entire time went in correcting these calibration certificates. So we started thinking, why don't we start our own calibration? Because we have all the facilities. So we collected all the SOPs, procedures, and we started our own calibration in 2011. And during the final assessment of NABH, our work was appreciated very much by the assessors, and we made all the calibration certificates available online so that end users can just select the inventory number and see the certificate. We calibrated our analyzers. Before that, even we don't know what is the traceability certificate. So after NABH, we started calibrating our analysis annually, and we got traceability certificates. And in 2013, we started thinking of moving forward. So we started thinking that why don't we go for accreditation for our lab? And we made it as our agenda and goal in 2013 and included in our reports. And in 2017, NABL included the scope of medical device calibration and testing. So immediately we started collecting all the details, and we applied for NABL in 2019. 2020 pre-assessment was done, and the final assessment was done in 2021. And on March 2021, we were awarded with NABL. How did we do it? While preparing for NABL, we prepared a checklist, and we analyzed that 50% of the resources were available with us, like master analyzers, testers, PC and software. Inventory is available with us, and we have all the technical manuals calibration, and we had qualified untrained people. So the things that were missing we were backlogging in documentation, manuals, management review meetings, and audit reports. So we started with what we had. We had the testers and analyzers, and we thought we will start with our own testing equipment. So we have our own software where we can test automatically, and we can upload all the certificates. And the documentation and training was the lagging area, and we sent our staff for training. We prepared all the documents, SOPs, quality manuals, and inter-lab comparisons were done, audits were performed, and management review meetings were conducted. Our management was very supportive, and our director participated in all the meetings. Our management participated in all the meetings. And finally, we were ready for NABL. And March 2021, we were awarded NABL accreditation, the first in-house biomedical engineering department to get NABL accreditation in the country. And our scope of accreditation includes defibrillator, ECG recorders, electrosurgical units, and so on. And now we are working to include more equipment in the future, like BiPAP, CPAP, humidifiers, warmers, incubators, etc. And we are also planning to extend our scope to the labs, to biochemistry, pathology, and virology in the near future. So we got NABL. Is there any benefit in that? So we analyzed the cost benefits. So we took the number of equipments calibrated from 2012, and the cost benefit was analyzed for the 2021. In 2021, we calibrated almost 3,600 machines, and I have taken the calibration charges based on the Anna University tariff, which is the minimum. And if you go for NABL agency, they are going to charge more, but this is the minimum amount. And we calculated the expenses. Finally, the cost savings was around 10 lakhs. So the projected cost benefit analysis for 2022, this year we have scheduled to calibrate around 5,000 equipments. The number of equipment increased because during COVID, we purchased a lot of equipments, and also one more project is coming, 1,500 bed hospital. So a lot of equipments were added to it. And this year, the expected cost saving is 21 lakhs by in-house calibration. Apart from cost benefits, is there any other benefit? Yes. After NABL, we know what we are doing, and we know how it is done, and we know how to calculate. After NABL, we are confident and we are learning every day. And we are confident that our machines are reliable and our results are comparable to the international standards. And now manufacturers accept our reports. They request for their product evaluation, and based on our report, they change and update designs. And other calibration labs, other agencies, they ask us for inter-lab comparisons. Apart from this, we are getting a lot of tenders from government agencies, government hospitals to calibrate their machines, and other private institutions, they are also asking us to quote for calibration. So basically, this presentation is to encourage the hospital biomedical teams to think of getting their own accreditation, so that we will be able to do inter-lab comparisons, because now we are comparing ourselves with the vendors. So we don't have any other hospital biomedical engineering department at present. So we encourage the in-house departments to think of NABL accreditation. So together, we can build a culture of safety in healthcare through medical equipment safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arul Prakash. Excellent deliberation. I just would like to know that yes, you have definitely saved the cost, but did you increase the frequency of calibration? Because lot of equipments in our system, they require more frequent calibration, but because there was no standard and sometimes even accreditation standard are not very much clear about it, you know that that's why the calibration happens maybe once in a year or maybe once in a 6 months, while actually if you can do more frequently, it will give you much better result, because this is all concerned with the patient safety. So did you increase the frequency?
We follow manufacturer standards. Basically, it's annual. But for some equipments like ventilators and BiPAPs and defibrillators, it's semi-annual. So yearly 2 times you have to do. So that we are doing. And whenever a major repair is done, then calibration needs to be done. Any major spare is changed, calibration is to be done. That also we are doing it.
Any other question from the house? Dr.
No.
Mr. Johri.
Uh, Thanks, Dr. Arul. I think you have very aptly summed up the NAVL process of accreditation, the requirement also, and how you were able to fulfill those requirements beautifully, and how it increased the quality as well, the confidence level, which was, I think, very important. So in this session, this clinical safety, raising the bar, what important thing which I found in your presentation was not the cost and all these things, what the important word, the confidence which you got. So when you are confident with your equipment, with the results, with the test report which is generated by these equipment, so all this clinical community is more confident with their practices. So this is the one thing. Thank you very much. You have summed up this process. Your presentation was also very nice. Thank you, Dr. Arul. Now summing up this
Thank you.
session,